Are dystopian stories becoming too depressing? Are they too close to reality? And is it time that we start creating stories about hope instead? I have been asked questions like this quite a few times over the last few years, and it is something that the creator of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, brought up recently.
When I was a kid, Hollywood was providing that voice in various forms. There was a lot of hope. Dishes that we are serving up are so dystopian, so pessimistic. There's a lot to be pessimistic about, but it's so one-sided. There's nothing we're doing that's providing anyone an image of hope.
And as an author of dystopian literature, including my upcoming debut novel, In the Algorithm We Trust, I thought that I would share my thoughts, though it is likely obvious where my opinion lies. So instead, let me start by saying I understand why people say this. The world itself is becoming more and more dystopian every day, and reading is often used by people to escape the world. So reading dystopian worlds while living inside a dystopian world, I can understand why that might be less desirable. And I can understand why people would want to read more hopeful stories in a time like this where it often feels so hopeless. However, I believe that in times like this, dystopian stories are even more important. Because are things dystopian right now? Absolutely. But we are still very much in the early stages of what this dystopian reality could become. As of today, our democracy is still intact, even if only slightly. And as of today, Trump does not have complete authoritarian control, even if he desperately craves it. And while ICE raids are running rampant and alligator Alcatraz exists, the success rates of these ICE raids are significantly lower than what they want them to be. And alligator Alcatraz is just the beginning of the plan. It is just one of many that they hope to build. The point is, things are bad right now. But if we don't do anything about it, they are going to get significantly worse. It is important that we understand we are not at the end of the dystopia. We are only at the beginning, meaning that there are still things worth fighting for, still things that we can prevent. And that's where I believe dystopian stories step in. It is the purpose of dystopian literature to point out the flaws of today, but it is also the point of dystopian stories to point out how much worse it can be. And these stories often show how we got from today to the even more dystopian tomorrow. In addition, these stories often serve as markers when governments or businesses or technology begins to overstep. Whenever there is talk about surveillance or rewriting history, we think of Big Brother. We think of 1984. When we think about organizations or schools or libraries or governments trying to ban books, we think of Fahrenheit 451. When we talk about the rise of Christian nationalism in America and the future that they want to build, we talk about The Handmaid's Tale. When we talk about the growing power and influence of the rich and the growing despair of the poor, we talk about The Hunger Games. In every instance of these books, they present the dystopian reality of the time and the future that they could be headed towards. And they remind us why it is that we never stop fighting, even when things look bad. And that is why I think it is still important that we create dystopian art even in this dystopian world, especially in this dystopian world. That, and also because I really want to sell my debut novel, In the Algorithm We Trust. If you are interested in dystopian novels, you can pre-order this today. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is it time that we trade in dystopia for hope, or do we double down on the dystopia?